So far, the previous chapter, I showed you the manual method of actually doing this job of installing Xwiki, configuring everything. Now in this demo, I'm going to show you how to actually do this thing in a fully automated fashion. 95% of the task in here is fully automated. I'm actually logged on my Mac machine now. I'm going to connect to my Ubuntu machine, which is going to act as the Xwiki server in a bit. Now to do that, let me connect to my Ubuntu machine. Let's check the first command, lsd-d. This shows what is my Ubuntu version I've installed on my server. So I've installed Ubuntu 18.4. You could choose the latest version, could be 20. It doesn't matter really. The procedure of installation is the same. The next I want you to do is to run the command sudo-i. Sudo-i would switch the user to an administrator if you're coming from a Windows background. And click on enter and enter the password again. So I'm going to clear the screen with Control L. So that takes me back into the shell prompt. And now I would want you to actually run nano, and this is a nano shell that's open. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the whole thing from here. So copy, paste it, Control X, and save the modified buffer. I'm going to select yes, and file name to write. I'm going to give it as install.sh. And that takes me out of the prompt. If I type ls now, I see the file. Next I want to do is to run the command chmod plus execute install.sh. What that does is it converts my file into an executable parameter form of a shell script. This function can now be executed. In order to run this shell script, all I've got to do is /.install.sh. This is going to kick off a script which will install everything for us. First thing what it does is installs Git. This is a package named Vim. Cockpit is a service. Clam is an antivirus. NetScript is a tool for managing your networks. Nano is an editor we just used. Vim is another editor. Linux is basically a web server. OpenSSH by default will be installed here. So you know when we started, I told you to download the server image here, and this basically configures the Ubuntu desktop or the graphical image here. The difference between these two versions, if you've downloaded the Ubuntu image, it would have come up with installed a Java version, etc. So for example, if you run the command here, before you run the script, let me just show you that. If you run the command java -version, it wouldn't have installed the Java version here. It's not installed. This is what we want. So that's the reason we actually chose to install this server image. Okay, if you download the desktop image, it would have by default the Java version 11 installed, and then there is a process to actually uninstall it before we can actually install Xwiki. The second command here, what it does is it removes LibreOffice. LibreOffice is what gets installed when you install this Ubuntu desktop package. We're going to uninstall that one, these packages, and it's going to remove it fully from the system. And this one is it's going to install OpenJDK 8, which would mean is Java version 8. This command, what it does is it downloads the Apache OpenOffice 4 product from web portal and saves it into our system. Similarly, what we're doing in this is actually we're trying to get Xwiki binaries added to our Ubuntu system. This is the package we downloaded, which is OpenOffice. We're going to extract that file, which is already compressed. That's what this is. These two commands, it installs and configures the Ubuntu machine, which we download with OpenOffice. This command, apt-get update Xwiki, installs Xwiki, Tomcat9, and MySQL. The next one I'm doing is I'm creating a directory called Xwiki backups. And then what I'm going to do is actually copy all the core files from these two files, default Tomcat9 and etc Xwiki star, into this folder before I make any further modification. Then what I'm going to do in these steps is there is a requirement that in order for Xwiki to successfully work, it needs a higher version of RAM for Tomcat 9. So what I'm going to do in this step is I'm going to add a 3 gig of RAM by modifying the configuration file etc/default Tomcat 9. Again, the same thing. These are OpenOffice server configuration. I'm reading Xwiki properties file, and I'm actually changing with this command. I'm going to uncomment the lines which are currently committed with these 4 actions. Okay, and then what I'm going to do with the final thing is OpenOffice 3. This is what will be currently there in the file, and it's going to change it to OpenOffice 4 because that's the version we actually downloaded here. So these are text manipulation commands which goes and reads properties file, edits the file, and changes it to our requirement. And this one allowing port number 22 through the firewall. Similarly, 9090 is our cockpit port, which is a service we install here. And that's what this step is. UFW allow 8080 would mean we are allowing Xwiki port to communicate outside. This is a command to enable the firewall service, and this service is to restart the cockpit service. And these commands, this is to ensure as you restart the system, this cockpit service comes back on in the same state. Again, this command ensures that the antivirus service is started. Again, systemctl restart Tomcat 9 would mean we are restarting the servers, which potentially would be stopped by now. This would ensure that each time you reboot the system, this Tomcat service will come back on. And finally, the shutdown -R, which would configure all these parameters and reboot the system now. What this automated installation does is actually all the steps which you otherwise be installing manually, as is shown in the previous slides as you go through it, all these steps are fully accomplished under one shell script. I've used some text manipulation method to actually change the parameters in here. We'll go through all these things once it's fully configured, and I'll show you what exactly has been modified. You could choose the option of manual installation, or you could choose the option of actually doing the automated installation. Choose the automated way of installation. You could just kick the script and just leave it, and after 30 minutes when you come back, you'll have a fully functioning server with all the modifications done and ready for you to use. Okay, so with no time to waste, let's kick off that script. Okay, I'm going to clear the screen once again, and I'm going to run the command /install.sh. Okay, so this is the command I'm going to run. I'm going to hit enter, and this process could take about 10 to 15 minutes from now. I'm going to hit enter, and all it does is it's going to sit and do the configuration in the background. And once it's done, we'll go through all the files. We'll check what exactly has been changed, what exactly has been installed, and things like that.